Welcome back to Authenticity Unleashed. I'm your host, Pam Rader, and I've got a real doozer for you today. I have noticed this trend where so many people are holding out for a hero. You remember that old song, Holding Out for a Hero? I Need a Hero. So many people are handing their power away. They're waiting for a savior. If we look at Christianity, we've been waiting for the return of the Savior for over 2,000 years. In Buddhism, they're waiting for the Buddha, someone to be enlightened. It seems like it's our nature to wait for something external, something outside of ourselves to save us. But there's a big problem with that because we have a whole bunch of people waiting and not creating, waiting for something to happen, someone to come and rescue them, some circumstance to change, but not taking any action because they believe that they have to wait for this hero to show up to make things better in their lives. And maybe you don't think this is you. Maybe you don't think it's you, but let's look at a couple things. Have you ever said, when there's a different prime minister or a different president, life will be better? Or when interest rates go down, I'll be able to do more. Or when I have more money, or when I have enough education, or when my boss retires, or when I'm in better shape, or I get the right trainer, whatever it is. If you are guilty of talking about the land of later on as a better time than now, you're waiting for a hero. You're waiting for some kind of external thing to happen, some kind of circumstantial change for you to be better. But if we're waiting for a hero, I've got some news for you. No one's coming. No one's coming. And maybe you still don't think this is you. You don't think, no, I'm a doer. I'm not waiting for a hero. Well, do you blame other people for your unhappiness? Do you blame the government? Do you blame society? Do you blame your neighbor for being a jerk? If you're blaming someone else for your unhappiness, you're waiting for a hero because you're waiting for that person to change for your life to be better. So why do we do this? If it so keeps us stuck and stagnant, why do you think we actually hang on to this holding out for a hero mentality? Well, if we take a risk and we do the things that would lead us towards what we want, we risk failure, we risk judgment, and we risk success, which might require a great deal more of us than we're really willing to give. Let's play the devil's advocate. If an external hero were to come to rescue you, consider that if you had been the victim in this drama triangle, I can't do this because I'm waiting for a hero to come. Do you think that's really empowering? That you waited for someone to come and dig you out or pull you up, or that's not satisfying. Because what I know about myself is that when I am most fulfilled is when I've exceeded myself in some way, when I've proven to myself that I can do more than I think, where I've stepped up further than I thought I could. So even when a hero comes, it's often not the rescue we were hoping for. So I want to share a story with you about a hero moment that's going to lead into hopefully some really great insight for you. So my son, Brandon, he's my youngest boy. He's 24 years old. And Brandon was born a little bit of a different kid. He was sure of himself from a young age. He was hardworking beyond anything I'd ever seen. At 6 years old, he would stack wood with his grandfather till his hands bled, and he would refuse to come in when we said that's enough. He wore Wranglers and cowboy boots to school, and he bought a big pickup truck for his first truck, and he loves old country music. He's like an old soul, and he's always had a hero complex. He loves to be the hero in the scenario. So my family and I had been looking forward to going with some friends to see Garth Brooks play live in the Edmonton outdoor stadium a couple of years ago. And my husband and I and a couple of other friends flew up there. We rented a big Airbnb. Brandon, my son, and all his friends rolled up in a convoy of their pickup trucks. And we were really looking forward to having a great time. We get to the concert. We're down on the grass, quite near the stage, not in the front rows, but fairly near. And we were really thought we had excellent seats. Having an amazing time. And what I haven't mentioned about Brandon is that he is also 6'6". He's a giant man. And so hardworking, hero complex, 6'6" guy, having a great time. And I happened to go to the washroom. I walked back from the washroom and I see this family, this little family standing kind of off to the sidelines. And I could tell that they had come down from the seats that were in the stadium, not in the bowl. And they were standing there. There's mom, dad, and two little boys. And one of the little boys, he looked to be maybe 6 or 7. He's wearing his cowboy hat, the cutest little cowboy shirt, little Wranglers, and his boots. And he's holding a sign that he wrote that says, "Mr. Brooks, this is my very first concert." Oh, it was so sweet. I just thought, oh, how lovely. And so I stopped to chat with them and I said, "Oh, it's really your first concert. How wonderful." And he's nodding and his mom says, "Yeah, we were hoping that, maybe they would invite us up to see Garth a little closer to the stage." And I said, "Oh, well, would you like to go up to the stage?" And the little boy's nodding and the mom says, "Well, yeah, but we couldn't, the security's there and we don't want to cause any problems." And, so they're standing on the sidelines. And I said, "You know what? I know a guy that was born to do this." And so I walked over to our seats and I grabbed my son and I said, "Brandon, here's this little guy. What I need you to do is put him on your shoulders. And I need you to walk through the crowd like you own the place. Do not look at security. Do not stop go. Do not collect $200. You walk to the stage, and I don't care what anyone says to you. Don't let anybody stop you. You walk to the stage until Garth sees that little boy and he sees that sign." And Brandon, my son, the little cowboy, he says, "Yes, ma'am." And he puts that little boy on his shoulders. And he did exactly that. He walked straight up to the stage and no one even stopped him. He just went straight up there. Now, Garth came over to this side of the stage and he sees the little boy on Brandon's shoulders and he picks up the poster and he says, "No way, your first concert." And he fist bumps the little boy and my son. Now, the little boy is so crying. His mom is crying. My son is so excited. And they got to enjoy quite a bit of time up in the front row and just made this little boy's life. Brandon brought him back a little later and set him down. And he said, the little boy was, "Thank you, thank you." And Brandon just said, "Pay it forward someday. When you're a big guy, you can do that." Now, what I've been thinking about with this story, because it's so lovely and so sweet, and that little boy had a hero for sure that day. But we all have an inner child. Every one of us, when we were little, had to morph ourselves into a version of ourselves that was maybe not authentic to us to win the love of our caregivers and to avoid their punishment or rejection. And then we went to the schoolyard and it was more of the same. How do I have to be to avoid rejection? And we started standing on the sidelines, maybe with a little sign, hoping someone would come, but a little afraid to take the steps towards being ourselves and what we really, really wanted in life. And then that just became the way we were. And we called it our personality. And that little child is still in you. And I feel like it's our responsibility to finally take that child's hand and say, "I'm the hero that you've been waiting for." And to stop standing on the sidelines of the arena and go to the front of the stage if that's what you want in your life. To stand for you being the most authentic, expressed version of yourself. No one can do that better than you. You don't need to ask permission from security. You don't need to wait to be invited. You have the power to create your life. So imagine looking at yourself as though you were a 5-year-old little kid. And You're waiting, you're wanting something to create, to do, to something that you've suppressed. And you're waiting for some right circumstance, right time to take the painting class, the right time to travel to Europe, the right time to have a baby or to quit the job or leave the relationship or get married or whatever it is. You're waiting for a sign. Well, here's your sign. Do the thing because you're the hero. You are your own hero. You're the greatest hero. And the moment that you get that, you have all your power back. Now, years and years ago, when my life was transformed through Baptiste Yoga, and I couldn't believe that Baptiste Yoga was not popular in Western Canada. It actually kind of shocked me. And I was waiting for someone to come to Western Canada, at least anywhere near me, and open a Baptiste yoga studio so that I could walk into the studio without having taken any risk to put my money down into creating a business, without having to put my name on the line, without having to do it. Just take the safe spot. Somebody else puts it all on the line, and I'm going to walk in, kick the doors down, and say, oh, here's Pam Rader. I'm going to teach some good Baptiste yoga. Ridiculous. That's what I thought. I was waiting. I was just waiting. And then, my teacher talks like this all the time. He says, if not now, then when? And if not you, then who? And it actually hit me in that moment. And I thought, well, what if no one's coming? And I really want Baptiste Yoga to be in Western Canada because it changed my life. I'd like to help other people experience this. Well, if no one's coming, what if it's me that's supposed to do it? What if it's me? And so just from that question, I started a little studio in my basement. And from that studio in my basement, we went to a commercial space. From that commercial space, we started another studio in Alberta and then one in Vancouver, which then turned into Shift Labs, coaching and leadership as an expansion of all of those things. And I am now sharing Baptiste Yoga with the world and the coaching principles of yoga and leadership with the world because I stopped waiting for a hero and I became the hero that I was waiting for. And we all have that power. We all have the power to put our little selves on our shoulders and say, you know what? You deserve to have everything you ever wanted in life. And it's time to stop standing on the sidelines holding a sign and get on my shoulders because we're going to the stage. What if you treated yourself like someone you loved, like a dear little child that you loved, that you wanted to see have everything in life, and you took your own little hand and walked yourself to the front of the stage? So, holding out for a hero? I got some good news. The hero's here, and it's you. That's all I've got for you today, folks. I hope that you got some food for thought. If you like the show, please rate the show. Please share this with any friends that you have that you might think would enjoy it or get value from it. It really means a lot if you subscribe to the show and just help us grow it because I'm trying to get some great work in the world where we help people level up and live their most authentic lives. Until next time,